Hello! So I was just having a little think about what to chat with you about today, and you might have guessed by the title by now, I'm going to talk about my year of unintentional celibacy. Literally just looking at the calendar, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's been pretty much a year and a week, a year and a week. And when I say unintentional, I mean it wasn't planned. The last time I had sex, I didn't think, oh, now I'm not going to have sex again for a year. That was not how it was at all. But there's quite a lot of backstory to this, and I realised how much it's helped me in myself, but also in my business, which is very interesting. And this is what I want to get into a little bit, because I'm creating this new group program at the moment called Sacral Power. And it's really about unleashing the power that exists within our sacral area. And as women, our creative expression, the way we move through the world, our sexual energy is all really intertwined. And I was like, this is very interesting that I've had this unintentional year of celibacy and I've been able to work so much better on my business. My business has changed, grown so much over this year. I'm like, interesting. So let's have a chat about it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to grab a coffee, we're going to go sit, chill in the other room, and we are going to dive right in. Chilling. Grab a blanket if you want, because I'm gonna talk about something really vulnerable. But this is what this channel is for, right? We're talking about abundance, healing, self-love, growth, all those things. This is why this channel was born, because I'm a coach, I'm a healer first, not a YouTuber. You might be surprised to know. And the reason that my work came about is because of all the healing I had to move through myself on my own journey, healing the wounds of sexual trauma in childhood. So I won't go into all the details because it's not very interesting or very exciting or fun to talk about, really. But just know that it happened. So for me, it's from the ages of like 7 till 10, very formative years. Where do I even start? Okay, let's start with intentional celibacy, which I took after my last boyfriend, because I broke up with him same time that I moved to Bali and got in really deep with my healing, like a lot more embodied healing. So I'd done a lot of mindset work, shifting my thought patterns and bringing more awareness to my world and like meditating, all those things. But I hadn't really gone into, I was still quite dissociated at that point, so I hadn't really gone into the body yet. And oh God, I don't even know if I should say this stuff. He's never going to watch this. My ex will never watch this. Or even anyone that knew us. Will they? I don't know. Anyway, our like sexual relationship towards the end was just like non-existent. We just didn't connect on that level. Like it was fine to start off with, and then it just like fizzled and then just disappeared. So after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to just focus on myself. I'm going to focus on my healing. And I kind of intentionally set the thing that was just like, no boys, at least for a few months. 2 years later. Anyway, so I really like dove into it and like spent so much time with myself. But all my healing was very relational. So my main teacher at that time was a man, and it was perfect, amazing. And after about a year or so, I was like, I'm ready to date. And I like opened myself back up and I like fell in love with this guy, and nothing happened, nothing sexual happened, but I was absolutely head over heels in love with him. Like, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, but it was just this huge, I felt so open towards him. And it didn't work out. Nothing happened. And I was just absolutely distraught. Anyway, where am I going with this? So I'm leaking a lot of energy at this point. So I'm still healing, but I'm leaking a lot of relational energy. So I come back to London and I open up to dating again, but I'm also shifting gears in my business and have these two things happening at once. And if I'm being honest, I put more of my energy into dating rather than my business, which is weird when I look back on it now, because I'm like, why did I do that? But still, part of me was just, that codependent part of me was like, I just the most important thing to me is to have a healthy relationship with a man, because I thought then I would only be healed once I have that healthy relationship, and that is wrong, not true. It's in fact the opposite, and that's what I really want to talk about. So business is going okay, like pretty well, things are getting started, but I was still focused on dating and having that relationship, and I worked with more male coaches, worked opening my heart more compassionate, all those things, and I did meet someone and I had sex with them, and it was like nice. It was nice. Physically, it was great, but like the connection just wasn't there. And this is when the unintentional celibacy started. Because I was like, I can't link my healing to having a healthy relationship. And this is everywhere. It's all over the shop, right? Of people saying that like,
you'll only find your best triggers, like you'll only learn and grow when you're in relationship
with someone else. Like our most fulfilling relationships in our lives are those that trigger us, that help us grow. And I'm not saying that that's not true, that we will always have triggers when we're in relationships. Like, sure, because two humans just bumping alongside each other, like that's just how it's going to go, isn't it? That is a relationship. And people always saying that you don't need to be fully healed to be in a relationship again. I agree, like that's not 100% true. But if you're connecting your healing to being in a relationship, you're always going to be limiting yourself and holding yourself back, saying that you can't be whole not in one, and that the most important healing is going to happen when you're in one. Coffee break. And I found the opposite to be true. So after that, I still messaged some people, but COVID really helped here because you couldn't really meet up with anyone. And so this past year, I've been really working on my own much more empowering embodiment. So my boundaries are so different now than they were a year ago. And the idea, like I used to have a very toxic relationship with my sexual energy, and that I would use it in all sorts of weird ways. Well, weird, like getting way too intimate with the wrong people. Wrong as in like married people who I worked with. It wasn't right. I mean, that's something that I felt that shame even back when I did it. It was years and years ago. I knew as soon as I did it, I was like, this is not me. Like, this is not right. I knew in my soul was like, this is just, it's not who I am. It's not who I want to be. But it took me so long to get to the place where I was like, oh, it's actually not who I am. And I'm not acting like that anymore. Yeah, so this year's really been about bringing my energy back to me and focusing on my business, focusing on my clients and what I'm creating and building that structure and really building that masculine element to my world and bringing it in myself so I'm not feeling like I need it from somewhere else. I haven't even noticed it, but I've noticed that the more that I create masculine structure in my own world, in my own business, in my own life, add in my own routines, find that safety within my world and my realm, the less and less I even think about what I need from a man or what I am looking for or what boundaries I need to have or what rules I need to put in place for dating. And it all feels so much more easeful, and I haven't really even thought about whether dating will be challenging or feeling scared about it or anything. And I've kept myself open, stayed on the apps. Any men are watching right now, you know, I'm out there. Actually, if you're watching this, you know way too much, and like we probably shouldn't date. But yeah, anyway, where was I? Yes, I stayed open to the potential, but I just see that I self-generate so much energy now that I'm just not looking for it from anyone else. It's what's allowing me to finally begin to actually make space for the person who will really come into my life, because it's really about more space. Before, I was still making myself want to be a certain shape in my life so that there's room for someone else to enter. But now it's about being so big that there's just infinite space for other people to come in all the time. And that feels like such a seismic shift from how I felt before, and healing trauma wounds was very much, I felt so intruded upon my whole life. There's all these walls, but also all the walls to my own body from myself. So I couldn't access my sacral area. I couldn't access my self-expression, because I put the walls up to other people, but I also put the walls up to myself. So this shift this year, this celibate year of not having anyone in all the ways, also allowed me to drop the walls to myself. And I feel like that is the most beautiful part, and that is what sacred power, that's what my new kind of coaching experience is really going to be about. It's about dropping those walls to ourselves so that we have access to like the magic that is our wisdom. You don't have to choose celibacy in order to do this, but I'm just saying this is the side effect of me focusing on myself, focusing on my business, is that I just stopped looking. I don't need that energy, and it's a beautiful part of life, and it will come back in. Like, I know it, of course. Like, I'm Scorpio rising and my Venus is in Leo, so like, you know, I'm a passionate being. So I know that of course it will come back in with the right person, but that it's sacred, and it's not just a physical way of enjoying ourselves. It's really about sharing our energy with other beings in a really special way. And we can only do that if we're resourcing ourselves, if we have access to our own energy anyway, because otherwise when we get into those relationships, what happens is that we're beginning to swap energy, and we're beginning to swap energy sources, and then we stop self-resourcing. I see that all the time in relationships. So that is what I've learned from being unintentionally celibate. I've learned how to self-resource in a way that I know when dating, in relationship with men, I will never not do that now. Like, it's ingrained, it's in me. That's how I move. Everything comes from me. I am the creatrix of my life. And that feels so good. When I talk about safety and empowerment, healing, like, just, it's everything. That is everything to me. Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, that is the best feeling. We have a little dance now. Maybe we should have a little boogie. I hope you enjoyed this little chit chat, and this is the kind of stuff we dive into all the time if you work with me as a coach, as a healer. And if you want to join my new group program, Sacred Power, it's going to be opening at some point soon. I don't know, we're just going with the flow, seeing what the universe suggests, but this is what it's all about. Self-resourcing, opening ourselves up to the magic that is within us. Okay, I'm feeling like I need to go for a walk now. Oh, and just like move this energy around. Maybe I'll take you, maybe I won't. Maybe this is bye for now, maybe it's not. Who knows? Anyway, it is bye for right now. We're gonna get up and move and do some things. Maybe you should too, actually get up and move.